Hey guys, this is Coach KP, and today I'm going to talk to you about what it means to be spiritual. All right, and the reason I have this authority to talk about what it means for you to be spiritual is because I have this spiritual advisor shirt on right here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but that gives me the authority to do that. All right, so that brings me to my first point. Of all the people that are talking about spirituality on YouTube and on whatever your favorite platform, there is really no hard and fast rule for somebody to be able to talk about spirituality, right? So that's the big thing to sort of think about when you're thinking about spirituality. What does it even mean? There's no central, there's a dictionary definition of it available, I'm sure, but everybody has their own version of the definition of what it means to be spiritual. Now, that brings me to my main point. My main point about what it means to be spiritual, or where do you get started to get on a spiritual path, or what is the ultimate goal of spirituality. All of these things, there is no central answer. However, there are some answers that are near enemies of the truth, and what that means is there are some answers to this question that will lead you down a path which seems spiritual but is not really spiritual. And that's the danger of listening to everybody that's talking about spirituality, is that people, even they themselves don't know, but they're trying to lead other people under this path, and that's dangerous, right? So here is what I'm gonna say. All right, everything that people are trying to sell you, anything that people are trying to sell you, is most likely not going to lead you down the path of spirituality. And this includes me, because I have a ton of courses online, and I've been guilty of trying to sell people certain things, my coaching packages, things of that nature. That is not in and of itself necessarily spirituality. Now, whatever people are trying to sell you may lead you one day to an awakening where you understand what spirituality really is for you, but anything, products such as crystals, right? As soon as you, especially if you live in the Western world, as soon as you talk about spirituality, somebody inevitably brings up crystals or sage or, yoga or, a number of things that eventually are packaged as a product, right? Could be Joe Dispenza's seminars, could be the 5 magical secrets to supercharge your life that I'm creating right now. These are, akin to that analogy where when a person is pointing to the North Star, people get fixated on the finger that's pointing to the North Star and not really to the North Star, right? So all of these things are means that a lot of people think is the end. In other words, to become more spiritual, or be more aligned to your path of spirituality, it has nothing to do with how many crystals you have, or how many yoga asanas you can do, or who your guru is. None of that is making you any special than this person that goes out and buys an iPad, right? That's a hard truth for people to swallow, because buying things, we live in such a consumerism oriented society that buying things is seen as a good thing. And when people stop buying material things, then they start going into diving deeper into spirituality. There's still that mindset where buying things, it will make you more spiritual, right? The truth cannot be further away from that. So then What about tarot card reading? What about psychics? Going to psychics, that's a real thing. And I have a lot of psychic friends in my circle, and this is no offense to them. They're just doing what their calling is. But just because somebody is psychic doesn't mean they're more or less spiritual than this other person who may be doing some other things, right? So none of the things that are being sold to you is going to lead you down the path of spirituality. Again, they may help you, but then just setting the intention to understand spirituality and not necessarily buying what is being sold may also lead you there, right? Now, the second thing I see in spiritual circles is guru hopping, right? You're hopping from one guru to another and learning as much as possible, right? This thing about learning, buying books, right? It's Eckhart Tolle one day, and then it's Joe Dispenza the other day. It's some other guru the other day. That is a big part of the spiritual circles. And I'm not saying this to offend anyone, because I've been in that hyper consumerism track myself, where I've been guilty of doing all of these things that I'm sharing with you, and none of that consumerism has made me any better spiritual person than if I hadn't went out and bought any of those things. So what I am saying is, buying seminars is not going to make you spiritual, right? Even attending the seminars, doing all of the practices, if it's coming from a place of accumulation, like, okay, I went to 10 seminars, and if you're going out and bragging to your friends about who your guru is, that's one way or the other. Now what you've done is you've fixed your ego to who your guru is, or how much money you've spent on spirituality, how many books do you have, how much knowledge you've accumulated. It's no different than somebody else going out and buying a car and bragging about it, or somebody that's going out buying a product and then coming to their friends and talking about it. What does spirituality really mean then? So we've talked about two things. One, anything anyone's selling, and any knowledge that you may have gathered, right? So if those are not making you any more spiritual or leading you down a real path of spirituality, then what is real spirituality, right? The one definition that I've been able to find in my own mind, and this is my version of spirituality, again, like I said, there's no central authority to this, so whoever is in front of the camera can talk about their version, and here is my version of spirituality. My version of spirituality is not about becoming more spiritual. Right? This is going to be very ironic to a lot of people. When you walk down the path of spirituality and you think that doing X, Y, and Z is going to make you a more spiritual, or a person that has something that this other person may not have, that is already a lost cause. Real definition of spirituality is for you to become a better person. Right? So let me say that again. The real definition of spirituality is how much of a better person you are today than you were yesterday. Right? If all of these practices that you're doing, all of the things that you're buying is only leading you to talking about spirituality more, and your relationship with your friends, your relationship with yourself, most importantly, your relationship with your family, your relationship around, with the world, if it hasn't significantly improved, then there is something that needs to change in order for you to look at spirituality in the way that it's meant to be, right? Just because you've bought 10 things, you've gone to 30 seminars, is not making you more spiritual. A lot of people are actually beating themselves up because they go to all these, seminars, all these, meditation camps, and guru after guru after guru, but that emptiness inside, the void inside, the anger inside, the sad feeling inside hasn't subsided, and it's been so long, right? And it gets frustrating for you to keep coming back to that same problem over and over and over again, right? So my message is to you, if you've been in that camp where you've tried so many things and it's not working, is that, hey, maybe that's not the answer that you're looking for. Maybe you need to find your own version of spirituality that's going to make you a better person. It make you a person that is open to ideas and open to things that are happening around you, where you can sit there and listen to people even when they are triggering you. If you're in the path where somebody triggers you and you're getting triggered and you're beating yourself up for getting triggered later on, and you're doing a lot of self-loathing because of that, then I'm here to say that if you start looking at spirituality from a perspective where, how can I become a better person to myself in that situation? That's a great way to go. But then if you're starting to beat yourself up and you're looking up on Google where the next seminar is so that you can get rid of that problem, that may or may not be the best thing you should do for yourself. There is no need to go anywhere to find the answers. All right? So that's what I'm here to say. So that's what I'm here to say today. I hope this makes sense to you. Write on the comment section what you feel about this. This is Coach KP. Peace.